For our application, we have three owl files. One is the real estate owl file, one is the restaurant owl file, and one is the events owl file. Each of the owl files are hosted in the Fuseki server placed at three different cloud locations. The real estate has been hosted in the AWS cloud file in the East Ohio region. The restaurant owl file has been hosted in the Google Cloud, and the events owl file has been again hosted in AWS but in a different region, that is in the Virginia. Now I'll walk through how we install Fuseki server on one of the cloud servers. So first we copied the complete jar file into this location. Then we made changes in the file so that we commented out the local filter. So I'll show you that. So in this Shiro file, we have commented out the local host filter. And then running this command, we start our server over here. My server is already started, so I'll show you that. So at this location, we have the real estate data. So that is the same URL with the real estate data. And on running this query, this is the basic query which will return us all the triples. So you can see the list. Same has been done for the restaurant grocery, and the same has been done for the event data. So basically we have started three Fuseke servers in three different cloud locations, and these are the configurations.
Here I'm going to be explaining the query processing for our three data sets. Our three data sets are that of event, grocery, restaurants, and real estate. Here are the three prefixes. So basically we'll be running two queries. In the first query, we'll be giving the user a list of cities. The user will select one city and we will retrieve all the zip codes that we have for that city to the user. In the second query, the user will select one of those zip codes, and based on that particular zip code, we are performing data linking for our three data sets. So here is the first query. We are selecting all distinct zip codes. Here we are giving the city as Scottsdale, but in reality our Java code takes this as a variable that will come from the end user. Now this event is not directly connected with zip code, but in fact event has an object property called has event address, and that is connected to an other address class, and from that address class we are getting this zip. So like that we get distinct zip for events. Similarly we get zip for restaurants and groceries, and we get zip for real estate, and we take a union of all of these three and we finally get our zip. So if I execute this query, here is a list of all the distinct zip codes that we have for city Scottsdale. Now let's run our second query. So in the second query, we display to the user that list of zip codes. The user selects one of those zip codes, and for that particular zip code, we display restaurant name, address, price, rating, category, event information, real estate information. So basically here is what the query is. Here we have all of these three, all of this event stuff that we want to pull out, and we write a query for all of that. Event will have an address. From the address we also get the street name. We have price. The price is a class that has two other data properties called min price and max price, and all of this is for a zip code 85281. Basically this is again a variable that will be taking from the end user in the Java code. Similarly, we get all information for restaurants and we get all information for real estate, and we perform a union on all three of these data sets, and this is everything that we'll be pulling out finally for a given zip code taken from the user. So if I execute this query, here is the end result. So this is all the event information that we have. Here is all the restaurant information, and at the end of all the restaurant information you will get all the real estate data as well, which we will be displaying in a clean and good UI format. Thanks.
development, we have used Java and the Apache Gina library. I'll explain the queries which we have written and how we are hitting the service endpoint. So this is the endpoint of one of the Fuseki servers. And here is the first query, which is the query for the zip code. So when the user enters some city, we will fetch the list of all the zip codes and return it to the user. So if the user selects Tempe, that query will be executed and it would return this list of zip codes. And if the user selects this zip code will be passed on to another query, which is second query. And here we will fetch the event details, the restaurant details, and the real estate details. Here we are doing some cleaning on the data which we are getting, and then we are constructing a list of objects. So for that, we have created like separate DTO classes for each of event, real estate, and restaurants. And then at the end, we are creating a map in which we push this event and the final event list, restaurant and the final restaurant list, and real estate and the final real estate list, which is displayed to the user as follows.
Developed a web application that will give me all the information about the apartments in a particular location, the restaurants and grocery in that area, and the events happening in that area on different dates. So for that, if I click on the execute button, it fires up the application. It gives me an option to select city name from the drop down. I'm selecting Tempe here, clicking on search. Then it gives me another option to select the zip code from the list of the zip code in that area. So I'm selecting 85281. Now this gives me all the information on the real estate present in that area, the restaurant and grocery in that area, and the events on different dates. So here the real estate information like address, price of that. So when there is an URL given. So when I click on that, it takes me to the Zillow web page where all the property details are present. For the restaurants and grocery, we have the name of the restaurant, the type, whether it's a restaurant type or a grocery type, the address of the place, the price. The price is reflected as $1, $2 restaurant or grocery store, and the ratings for them. Events give me the name of the event, the address, location of that event, the date on which the event is happening, the time, and the price range. That is what is the maximum price of for that event reservation and the minimum price. So that's all from our side.